Welcome to the Sky Maiden Musings channel. The videos on this channel have been created, directed, and presented by Reverend Dikki Jo Mullen. Her email addresses are presented here and on the next slide. Reverend Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen began learning about metaphysics at a very early age from family members who practiced astrology, for instance, or a number of these techniques that are listed here. And after a lifetime of practice, she's mastered a range of metaphysical techniques and methods that she uses in her daily work. Just an overview quickly of what she offers if you're interested in contacting her. And again, I have the email addresses here in the website. She works with astrology, crystals, dream analysis, graphology, which is the study of one's writing in respect to one's personality or character, numerology, palmistry, rune wisdom, and tarot card reading. In the way of metaphysical practice methods, she engages in aromatherapy, aura portraits, chakra balancing, classes of a range of sorts related to metaphysics and spirituality, convention programs, feng shui, home blessings, house parties, paranormal investigation, past life readings, and personal readings. Again, her contact information is here. And next we will talk about the video that is produced for this week. The focus of this video is ghosts. Are they real? Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen will discuss various types of ghost sightings and explore the current technologies used to detect ghostly presences.
Ghoulies and ghosties and three-legged beasties and things that go bump in the night. Do you believe in ghosts? About half of us do. And nearly every town has a ghost tour now. This is Dikki Jo Mullen in Orlando, Florida, with Sky Maiden Musings, and I'm a professional paranormal investigator. We're going to talk about how exactly to decide whether an area is haunted, and then how to investigate and what to do about it. There's a time when all the rational explanations fail. One wants to eliminate bats in the attic or poor electricity, but if you do all of that and there are still phenomenal activities going on, the good chance is you have a ghost. I have 25 different questions to answer. The first one is, have you ever heard a voice and never found anyone there? Do doors open and close by themselves without a reason? Does the computer or other electronics of the TV turn on and off or act strangely? How about water running in the bathroom? We all remember Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter. That's actually very authentic about what might happen if there's a ghost in a bathroom. Strange smells. The Maitland Arts Center is very, very haunted here in the Orlando area by the ghost of the founder, and many of the students there have smelled his cigar smoke, even though smoking's forbidden there now when he's active, which he often is. Have items ever disappeared around you only to turn up again later? Objects move alone without a reason. Hot or cold spots in the building. These are just some of the points to look at. These are the tools that are used in paranormal investigation nowadays. This is a super sensitive thermal thermometer, and if a ghost is suspected in an area, a paranormal investigator might come out with one of these, and if there's an extreme temperature change without a physical reason for it, either very cold or very hot, that can mean the spirit entities are drawing up and using that energy to create effects. This is an EMF meter electromagnetic frequency meter. It works in a unit called a milligauss, and it measures whether there is activity. The lowest level, which we have here in green, indicates that there really isn't paranormal activity. If I push it just to set it, we'll see the lights flash. But if they do that in an area where there is a ghost suspected, that can show that there is activity present. Running a tape recorder or the recording device and looking to see whether there are orbs or images there. Sometimes they move at a more rapid pace than our eyes can see. This is a motion detector, which will show whether a ghost is passing through or going by. These are all items the modern paranormal investigator might use. However, we've only had these for a very short time, and everyone might not always have access to them. So a simple candle is a very good tool. If a candle flame turns blue, traditionally that means a ghost is present. A white candle is good to see if there's a neutral situation, and if we register a ghost, it's important to decide what you want to do with it. If you want to send it at rest, that's called release mediumship. A bright yellow candle, that color is the color that can be seen most easily for the entities on the other side. That will send the spirit visitor on. So will sage. This is a sage smudge stick, traditionally used with a seashell, an abalone shell. It's lit in the flame of the candle, and the fragrance, the sage fragrance, is purifying. It's good to open a window a crack or a door, ring a bell, and invite the entity to leave. Usually they will. It's just like telling someone it's time to leave home. However, if you want to connect with or draw an entity closer, the fragrance of lavender will draw them closer, so will sandalwood incense, and a purple candle will draw the phenomenon, activate it. So it's important to decide what to do. This is a pendulum, and back in the days before the fancy equipment would occur, the pendulum would be held by a paranormal investigator, and the pendulum, if the hand is held very still, will move, and it's possible to ask it to shake its head yes or no, back and forth, vertically, horizontally, or to move in circles to indicate certain messages. Clockwise circles are generally yes, reverse circles are no, and then of course nodding or shaking the head, yes or no, just like we might in body language, is a way the pendulum can be used to communicate. Timing is very significant in ghost tracking. Often the full moon or anniversaries of births or deaths will be times when an entity is present. An earthbound spirit is an entity that perhaps was the victim of a crime or wasn't ready to move on to the other side after a serious illness. And then also graveyards can be very haunted if bodies there haven't been cremated, if they've been embalmed or buried and without being processed. It seems as if the entities can stay closer near them, and images, photographs taken in graveyards can indicate that there's a haunting present. Older homes, places where there have been battles, historic sites. The Fort Gatlin area here in Orlando is the scene of Indian wars, Native American conflicts during the 1840s, and I've been called to many sites in that neighborhood because of spectral visitors. Photos taken showing shafts of light. You might have thought back in the days before digital photos that the lights and other images were just the fault of a faulty camera or film. Well, no, they were probably images of entities with us. Marks or stains appearing and then disappearing and appearing again can be the sign of spirit activity. what to do when we encounter a ghost and determine there's one there. I have a funny story to tell. I had a ghost tour going over in the Brevard County area, and we went to the old Melbourne Hotel, now the 1900 office building, and one of our tour group members had an esthetician salon there, and she was able to get us in after hours because there were the reports of many, many ghosts there, particularly one called Amelia. I had a group of about 30 dedicated ghost hunters that had spent all day with me learning the in and outs of ghost hunting. So we went up to about 10 o'clock at night, the third floor, and Amelia appeared. You never heard such screaming in your life. Every tour guide's nightmare. And I had this nice guy, great big guy, who worked at the power company there because he felt a lot of ghosts around the electricity. And he put his hands on his hips and said, "Look at this. They pay her all this money to see a ghost, and look what happens when one comes along." I'll never forget that. Amelia was an earthbound spirit who died of a suicide because she thought she had been abandoned by her boat captain lover who had come up the Indian River to rendezvous with her at the hotel, and one time he didn't come back, and she suspected the worst, but he was just delayed by bad weather and was very, very sad and died himself of a broken heart. This is back in the early 20th century, and they are some of the entities at that particular area. Back to business. What to do when a ghost appears. First of all, remain calm. Getting upset, screaming is going to stir up the spirit's energy field in a negative way. The second thing to do is to have a notebook handy. Make a detailed search. Analyze the surroundings for cold or hot spots, and close off the environment to contain the energy in order to connect with it. Shutting yourself in the room with a ghost instead of banishing it will make it easier for it to manifest and you to decide what's going on with it. Get physically comfortable. Patience is very important with ghost tracking. Have drinks and snacks with you. Time is measured differently in the other realm. Stay alert. Make records on film or in your notebook. Look and speak directly to the ghost when it appears, and writing a question for the spirit visitor is important. I am a great fan of the Ouija board. I know it has a mixed reputation, but I don't think it's any more dangerous than the telephone. I've spoken to Ouija my whole life. The spirit board or Ouija board is a wonderful tool. Just ask that the highest and the best be allowed to enter for specific communication. Also, tarot cards, whirligig items, and dowsing rods can be very helpful in paranormal investigating. So can a traditional spiritualist technique of having a tray with talcum powder on it, because the ghosts will sometimes leave an image or a message in the talcum powder. Remember that generally the ghosts are friendly. Very rarely, if ever, do they harm people. But it's important to remember they are very real. Ghosts or spirits are the remaining energy of an entity that was alive once. We also have angels. Those are entities that have purposes above and beyond what we can conceive of. They have a divine energy. And then there are the nature spirits. Elves, fairies, pixies, leprechauns. They relate to the earth, plants, and flowers. They were never alive. Sometimes they're called the folk, the wee folk, the little people. They also are very real and may be a part of a paranormal investigation. Near the gloom time of the year, that's as the days get shorter and quieter, there seems to be a peak of ghostly activity from, say, the fall equinox through right after the winter solstice and Christmas time and New Year's. And Charles Dickens' famous story, A Christmas Carol, of course, with the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, addresses a lot of very long-time traditions about the gloom time. Not gloomy, but gloomy isn't sad, but gloomy is quiet or otherworldly, is an active time period. And also the health or well-being of loved ones can affect ghostly activities. Intensive care units in hospitals in general, retirement homes can have a lot of spirit visitors with us. On my scoring of my 25 questions, up to 5 can mean maybe paranormal activity. 5 to 13, the place is definitely haunted. 13 to 25 yeses will mean that you want to have an emergency situation called in a professional paranormal investigator. It's very comforting and interesting and intriguing to visit haunted areas and to connect with the other side, realizing that, thank heavens, this world isn't all there is. This is Dikki Jo Mullen in paranormal investigation and ghost hunting.